Hey guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys joining me for today's video. Just a beautiful April day here in Southwest Missouri. Taking a little walk and going to do today's video. And I'm going to talk about something, guys, that probably a lot of people get offended by this, why I do not like Lake Guntersville. Lake Guntersville is probably one of my least favorite lakes in the country. I want to explain why in today's video, and I'd say there's probably going to be a lot of guys that agree with me on this. So we're going to get into that. Thought it might make for an interesting conversation today. Also, guys, before we get started, real quick reminder, anybody interested in booking a private one-on-one on-the-water lesson with me, all you got to do is go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat. If you guys are wanting to learn any technique about, I give lessons for different techniques, shoot me a private message for details. And also, guys, Tackle Warehouse has still got a bunch of good spring fishing sales going on right now. If you guys are interested in getting some fishing gear, rod and reels, life jackets, trolling motors, whatever, I'll have my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. And that's a great way to support Intuitive Angling, is by using and bookmarking that link, as the channel gets a small percentage of a commission on anything you buy there. So thank you very much from me and my family if you've been doing that. Okay, guys, I fished Lake Guntersville a ton, and I've had a lot of success on Lake Guntersville. I've had numerous top 10s. I've caught numerous top 10s in both FLW and Bassmaster. The biggest single day limit of bass I ever caught in my life came on Lake Guntersville, and I fished it forever. I fished tons of tournaments there, lots of time on that water. And I can tell you right now, despite the fact of the fish that it puts out and the quality of fish and the notoriety, it is one of my least favorite lakes to fish in the country. Let me explain why. It hasn't always been like that. Lake Guntersville is one of those lakes out there that the notoriety has ruined it for me in terms of the amount of fishing pressure it gets. Lake Guntersville gets freaking beat to a dang froth all the time. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like fishing there. It's like any ramp that you go to, it's freaking packed. I mean packed with both tournament anglers and recreational anglers, fun anglers. Another thing about Lake Guntersville, and I don't want this to sound bad, and I don't mean to, say that tournament anglers have more of a right to fish than like just recreational bass anglers, but I have never been to a lake in my entire life where there's so many local recreational anglers that watch people catch fish out like in the middle, because it's all a community hole there. They watch people catch fish in those offshore grass beds, and they come over and fish it. It's called the bent rod pattern. And also, I've never seen a lake that has, if you're in a tournament, it doesn't mean nothing to the locals there. It's like that. I don't care. I've had several situations myself where actually I was leading the Bassmaster tournament. I had the ESPN camera boat with me, sitting there filming me. Locals don't think of nothing of coming up, fishing 30 foot away from you, casting to right where you're casting. I don't understand that I don't really understand that mentality but that happens a lot. But the main thing about it is one of the reasons, or the main reason I don't like Lake Guntersville is one of the main reasons I don't like a lot of lakes in the country that just get so much fishing pressure that it's no fun. There's no secrets on Lake Guntersville anymore. It's like everything's a community hole there. And with the advent of spotlighting for bass, it's even made it worse. It's like you can't hardly compete just like any place else without it. Lake Guntersville, the only thing that saves it is the grass. I mean, the grass is the saving factor on that lake. That's the way it is on about any lake that has grass. Grass is the number one grass is the number one bass habitat for any lake across the country. But I just don't like fishing Lake Guntersville because there's so many dang people out there. It's like when I first started fishing the lake was in the late 1980s, and this was before the lake had a lot of notoriety. There had been the Bassmaster Classic there. We had several Bassmaster Invitationals, and that was back when people didn't really understand how to fully fish that lake, and they had more rudimentary techniques, like all they did is fish a chrome and blue rattle trap over the grass, or just a Model A bomber crankbait around riprap and stuff like that. They didn't really understand like the nuances of pitching and flipping and swim baits around the grass, and how those bass use bridges and all that type of deal. And the weights were low, so you didn't have the notoriety. But after people started figuring out how to fish that lake, that's when that explosion took over. And it's like before, I remember in the 80s and early 90s, I'd have a lot of those areas to myself. It's like a lot of those grass flats out there that had some ditches winding through them. I'd be out there by myself the whole tournament. And you can't do that anymore. It's like everybody is on top of everybody at Guntersville, and it just didn't make it any fun. And Guntersville, it's like, I like it. For me, it's like how I determine a good bass fishery. It's not necessarily about the fishing. It's about the entire, ball game around it. It's about the aesthetics of it. It's how it looks, how quiet it is, how remote it is, how peaceful it is, how you can get away from people from fishing. And you don't have any of that on Guntersville. In fact, you don't have any of that on any of the TVA lakes. The TVA lakes are some of the most overfished lakes we have in the country, and some of the most aesthetically unpleasing lakes in the country, with like you go to Lake Wheeler and you got dog food plants on the bank, and toxic smelling stuff in the air. It's like, I don't like that. I don't care how good the fishing is. Let me give you an example. It's like, I would rather go to a place like Lake Mead in Nevada and catch 10 pounds of fish in a tournament over going to Lake Guntersville and catching 25 pounds in a tournament. 25 pounds at Lake Guntersville doesn't mean nothing to me, but going out in the aesthetically beautiful area of Lake Mead and, or the St. Lawrence River or the Great Lakes, someplace that is just wild and more remote, that's what's fun to me. It's not necessarily getting bit. One of the things that you're going to find as you get older as an angler is that getting bit is good, but there's other things that are actually more valuable and more important than fishing. There's everything else that goes into that experience as far as being outside and absorbing all the nuances of nature and appreciating the bites that you do get. Fishing is not about just constantly getting bit. It's about breaking the puzzle, breaking down the lake, and it's about figuring out the puzzle every single day, figuring out how the weather patterns and different things are unfolding. And some of the most satisfying fishing days I've ever had, I maybe only caught 5 or 6 fish, but it's like the way it unfolded, it was just satisfying. And I've had so many days on Lake Guntersville where I've caught 15, 20, 22, 23 pound bags, and just not that impressed, man. I just don't really care for it. I gotta be honest with you. And I don't mean this as a slight to all you guys that fish all the TVA lakes, because what's really odd about it is I fished basically every TVA lake in my career. And the TVA lakes overall are my least favorite lakes, but the TVA lakes are the ones I've done the best on. It's like I've had more top 10s and national tournaments on TVA lakes than anywhere across the country, even though I don't really like fishing there. And some of the lakes across the country that I really like fishing a lot, I've sucked at. So that's sort of an odd paradox there. So anyway, guys, I gotta admit it, man. Like, I don't miss the fact that, I haven't fished Lake Guntersville in a long time. When I hear about dudes catching 25 and 30 pound bags at Lake Guntersville, or 50th place is 20 pounds, don't impress me, because I know it's there. I mean, I know what the whole area is like. Like I said, give me 8 or 10 pounds on Lake Mead. I'll take it any day over 20 at Guntersville. So let me know what you guys think. We'll talk later.